Right now on Denver 7 News at 6, it's a weather action day and major rain is on its way to the metro, causing flooding concerns to spike. New this morning what CDOT is doing all day to make sure something scary like this doesn't happen again. Plus,
so it just kind of created this huge hole and gap for kids.
A new school year starts this morning across the metro, and it's creating an opportunity for students and teachers to turn a corner.
Whoever got affected by the fire, I understand.
And a sweet thank you to first responders coming from Colorado Girl Scouts, including some who lost everything. All thanks to you, our Denver 7 Gives viewers.
Well, we do want to get you updated on some breaking news here. A Denver firefighter is recovering after being injured in a fire in a construction zone. This is off of Federal and Vassar. Denver Fire says the buildings that burned here were vacant, but as you can see, one was engulfed in flames, and then here's the aftermath there. Nothing left of this building. We're still working to figure out what exactly happened, and Denver firefighters are out there still determining the cause of this.
Well, switching gears now as we take a live look from our Lookout Mountain camera. Happy Monday to you. Skies are calm, beautiful sunrise, but we have big changes on the way.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm Nicole Brady. I enjoyed the break from the heat. Well, I mean, I stayed inside all weekend is what I was going to say to escape the heat. And I'm going to enjoy the break, I think, Lisa.
It was hot. Yeah. We had a long 90-degree streak of weather last week through the weekend. Now, yeah, quite a bit cooler. Unfortunately, we have issued a Denver 7 weather action day. Now, if you're new to Denver 7, we'll do that if things could get a little inconvenient. And yeah, weather-wise this afternoon, flooding can obviously be inconvenient. We do have a flash flood watch in the mountains near some of the burn scars in effect today. Showers already starting to develop a little farther west. Here in town, everything is dry right now, but you can see we have a flood watch, an aerial flood watch here up and through the northern Front Range Mountains, just south of Denver, so parts of Douglas and Jefferson counties will be included in that today. Some slower moving storms, pockets of heavy rain. We may unfortunately see a repeat of what we saw just about a week ago. We're in the 60s right now. Things are nice and quiet. It's going to be a beautiful, pretty clear start to our morning. We'll get into the low to mid 80s today, so it is going to be quite a bit cooler, and it's going to cool down even more so once these showers roll through. So Jason, timing wise, by about 11, 12 o'clock, first for the mountains, and then 1 to about 2, we'll start to see that rain down here.
Speaking of the mountains, yesterday for about 4 hours or so, we had I-70 closed down in Glenwood Canyon. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, Lisa said there's a watch. Now, that's different than the warning. If we see a flash flood warning in Glenwood Canyon this afternoon, we could see I-70 again closed down through Glenwood Canyon, so be prepared for that. Right now on the Grand Avenue Bridge here in Glenwood, everything looks good, and I-70 down below is wide open. Take a look at the drive here in town, Air Tracker 7, right over Santa Fe, I-25. So this is the old Gates area right here. So along South Broadway, this is where they are doing the redevelopment down us in the railroad track here in the Broadway station there. So this is I-25, and it looks pretty good for the most part. If you hear about the fire closing down part of Federal, that's not the case anymore. We do have lanes open there, and the rest of the drive looks pretty good. But obviously, we're going to have to keep an eye on the skies this afternoon, and possibly some street flooding around those usual spots in North Denver.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason. With the risk of more flooding, this video of last week's flooding in Denver is still fresh in our mind. Nearly a dozen people had to be rescued from stranded cars in the Central 70 project when the pumps failed.
Yeah, crews have now been working around the clock to figure out why those pumps didn't work, but the contractor says they will be ready this time. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live with how they're standing by to make sure you feel safe and stop the floodwaters when they come in.
Good morning, and we're already seeing a lot of cars on I-70 this morning as people are heading to work. We know it's going to start picking up soon here as families start making their way to school this morning as well. Just a week ago, though, this was looking a lot different when it was hit by that heavy rain and people were trapped in that flood water and they had to be rescued. So now CDOT is working to make sure that that does not happen again. And one of the things that they're doing is keeping a close eye on the pump. CDOT's Central 70 project contractor Kiewit is still looking into what happened, but a spokesperson said it appeared the drainage pumps did not turn on automatically and had to be manually turned on when several cars got stuck in that water last weekend. So now they're monitoring that drainage pump 24/7 as they continue to investigate to see if there was a pump malfunction, Kiewit tells us that they've done extensive testing that shows the drainage pump and the backup system are fully operational. But until that investigation is done, whenever we have wet weather, there is a new protocol, and staff will now be on site at that pump station to make sure that the interstate drains properly. And that final investigation and those results will be ready by the time the month ends. Kiewit says that they've already taken several steps to make sure that those pumps are working properly for future weather events. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, we could see them tested today. Certainly. Thank you, Christian. And a reminder to be very careful traveling in the high country today. 15 people and 8 vehicles were stranded after a mudslide near Telluride this weekend. They had to be rescued from Black Bear Pass when flooding happened there. There is shock and disbelief still looming this morning as police search for a gunman who opened fire into a crowded bar in Greeley. The shooting happened Saturday night at the Rancho El Corazon bar near 1st and 18th. Police say a masked gunman pulled up to the bar, stepped out of the car, and just started shooting randomly. 2 people were shot. Fortunately, both are expected to survive.
It's scary because you can't even go out to have fun anymore these days. You know, you don't know what you're going to run into, and it's just gone mad these days.
Yeah, that's the feeling of a lot of people right now. The suspect got away before police arrived, and Greeley police have not released a description of that person or the car yet, but we will post any information we get on thedenverchannel.com.
Well, students in Gilpin County will not be going to school today because of a threat made on social media. That threat was posted over the weekend. The sheriff's office says they have identified the student responsible for it, and they are suspended during the investigation. The district is canceling class today, though, out of an abundance of caution.
Meanwhile, it's the first day of school for thousands more of the kids across the metro. Mapleton, Westminster, and Cherry Creek schools all start today. Denver 7's Veronica Costa joins us now live. And Veronica, we talked so much about teacher burnout during the pandemic, but you found some teachers who are feeling the opposite of that right now, really excited to get into the classroom.
They are just thrilled, and we're talking about 2 first-time elementary school teachers. Now, we are right outside Overland High School this morning, where we're gonna probably start seeing students arrive here within the next hour or so. That bell rings for their first class right around 7:55. So we have a little bit left to go. You know, those really little kids, they're really excited probably for the first day of school. They haven't been maybe before, and that's the case for these 2 school teachers that we spoke with. One of them telling us that he's just excited to be doing what his dad was doing, and he's also thrilled to be representing some students who might look like him in the classroom.
There's just a different level of comfortability with him in the room and trust, and I just wanted to be able to do the same thing. I never had a black teacher growing up, and I didn't have any males in elementary school. And so I kind of wanted to break that mold.
So Will there is who you just heard from. He's going to be teaching over at East Ridge Elementary, and as you can imagine, he's not the only first-time teacher in the Cherry Creek School District. Jordan Walton, she's also going to be teaching those little ones. She's going to be over at Buffalo Trail Elementary. She's going to be with students who have special needs, and she says it's a job that she knew was for her since the time she was actually in high school.
I've been waiting for this moment since I entered the program, my teaching preparation program. And I think I'm just most excited, you know, to be with my kids. I was fortunate to land my first job at the school I student taught at, so I already know the schools.
And I met Jordan and Will about a week and a half ago. At the time, they said they were really excited to just get their classrooms all set up and ready for the school year, even meet some of their students' parents. Today, though, they are thrilled to get to meet their students for the first time. Live in Aurora, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Oh, that's exciting to see, and we certainly need them. Thank you, Veronica. Well, we want to talk about a huge part of going back to school, reading.
Yeah, been tied to a lot of success at school. And Denver 7's Danny New is here with his edition of Teacher Tips, because you talked to a teacher about how to make sure your kid is reading at the right level.
Yeah, it seemed like an important thing to make sure we got out of the way before the school year. Yeah, might as well. Because as we discussed, the virtual learning has kind of made education slow down a little bit over the last couple of years. So I spoke with a teacher named Tiffany Shalander from Dean Elementary in Aurora. Her job is just to make sure kids are catching up to the reading level because so many are behind right now. So that's what she does every day. And she says, like we've said, kids got to read more. But let me give you a visual to help paint that picture of how much they need to read more. This is from the Education Leader's Guide to Reading Growth, and it shows us that if your kid just reads at least 15 minutes a night. That's the magic number, 15 minutes. Their reading growth accelerates big time. They can catch up by 1/3 of a year just by 15 minutes a night. And Tiffany says it doesn't have to just be a book.
What about like comic books and graphic novels? Are you cool with kids reading those?
Oh my gosh, yes. We have them read it all the time, even in like my classes. It's just that engagement piece that is really, really good for them. And making it a part of like a routine for your family is such a good thing.
I want to show you guys something. This is called the 5-finger rule. Hold up your hands. 5-finger rule. Okay. Now, this technique determines if what your kids are reading is up to their grade level. So when they go to the book, I'm just going to keep holding my hand up.
Okay.
Go to a random page in the book and then figure out how many words they don't recognize. The goal is 1 to 2.
Okay.
If they have 3 to 4, then they can try. It might be a little hard. And 5 is probably by Tolstoy, so they probably shouldn't be reading it.
Okay.
So 1 to 2 words they don't understand. That's what she says is the right amount.
I might need to up my level then, I think.
Yeah, how's the prompter? Are you recognizing enough words? Okay.
I can't get away with 15 minutes either, because once you start reading to your child or with your child, like they want another book.
Yeah.
They'll go get, or they want to read that same book over and over again.
Is that what happens?
It's a good problem to have.
What was the book they always wanted to read over and over again when they were little?
Oh my gosh, I don't.
But
I mean, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. We've read.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of books
Okay.
that are not the ones we want to be reading over and over.
A little different, yeah.
But I love the graphic novels. Lisa?
Yeah, I used to accidentally get 2 pages stuck together as I was flipping through the 8th book of the night. That was my little trick. They're too old for that now. They see what I'm doing. Mid to upper 60s as your kids are heading off to school this morning. Partly cloudy skies. We're going to see an increase in cloud cover, scattered storms and showers, areas of heavy rain this afternoon, and more flash flooding. Highs only in the 80s today, and it's going to be 70s, Jason, by the commute tonight. Quite a bit cooler.
My favorite one when I was done, I would say, all right, here you go. Happily ever after. Open the book and just say, hey, very good. That's the book's done. Right now we have a good drive going on here in Castle Rock. Not seeing any problems down on the south side of town. We could see some of those flooding areas down here with that rain that's on the way this afternoon.
This is not your average traffic stop. Take a look here. Why the driver was actually grateful she almost got a speeding ticket.
And as we all try to pinch pennies these days, there's one thing shoppers are still splurging on: why makeup products are more popular now.